welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This reading felt okay. The very first song that I heard, like as soon as I laid it down, I heard that song by Teddy, Tedy. That song is that "Can I love you? Does your smile hide lies?" That's what I heard. And I feel like that was at you, like whoever this reading is for. And there's something about peace is what you want. And I almost wonder if you're having like an internal battle between like your emotional state and your mind, your thoughts. This feels like there needs to be, okay, something else. I feel like when I was getting ready to put it out, I was thinking about kind of the past being out of the light right now, and that you need to visualize, like, I don't know if everyone in this reading needs this part, feels like it. It's like a big piece that it feels like there needs to be a death of the old for you to experience something new. And that feels like the past needs to feel done to you. And that doesn't have to be a long ago past. It can be just like a recent past, or even just like an abrupt thing that has just changed. And it's almost like, I don't know if someone feels out of control a bit, but I think that's kind of like a symptom of going up, like having that spiritual awakening. And a part of that sometimes is kind of like your systems going into overdrive because they now have a new voice to calm them both together, like your heart and your mind. And your emotions and all of that. I think that someone needs to know that when you're experiencing energy, when you're experiencing other people, it is in your thoughts. Because I was thinking about this past experience I had with someone that I was talking to. And we were actually both in a very emotional place of our own. And we were talking to each other. And I had a thought about getting a storage unit. And then this person later that day told me that during one of our conversations, they thought about getting a storage unit. And they had no reason to think that, and they never thought it before. And the thing is, I had never told them that before. That was just something I had been thinking, and I was thinking in that exact moment, like in our conversation. What a jerk. I'm thinking about other stuff. But anyway, my whole thing is, that is how you get information sometimes. And like the more awakened you become, the more you can actually experience other people when you are thinking about them. Like you can experience their information inside of yourself. Whew. Thank goodness. I wasn't sure how I was going to get that one out. So the thing that's coming up, it's almost like you're going to have this warm and cozy feeling, or you already have, but there seems to be a release, like a release, cozy feeling that you need to calm this. You know what? I'm flashing back to this short that I saw once of some dude calming it was like a veteran calming another man who was freaking out with PTSD, an experience like that you would call that. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to that depending on what life experiences we've been through. But this definitely seems like, whether you have or not, it can be really overwhelming when you have like crazy overwhelming heartbeat, and adrenaline, and also like all of your thoughts are kind of working against you. And the dude calmed this guy down by telling him to breathe and was asking him, do you want to hold on to this feeling or do you want to let it go? Like, do you want to stay here? Is this working out for you? And the dude's intelligence was able to take that one very basic primal piece of information, to breathe, and that was enough. Like, that was enough to make him able to gain composure in a moment that he didn't have it. And I think the thing that I actually didn't remember until now, so it didn't feel important until now. Honestly, like, it didn't seem significant, but right now it does. In that little clip that I saw, I remember the guy's face that was calming, because this is the stuff I pay attention to. But like, he was raging and then looked like he was gonna cry, and then raging and then looked like he was gonna cry. And I can relate to this feeling. I think that I understand this better now, because I was like, what? It's very intense. It feels very much like a mind and body experience, that's on overdrive. And that's what happens as you go through like awakening transitions, where you are experiencing more information at a different level. It's like every time you elevate, you're blossoming a new conscious part of yourself. Like, it's pretty nuts. Okay, so the thing is, it feels like the breathing needs to be a part of your routine. Like, you need to do breathing exercises. To gain control in those moments, breathing is your ticket. And then the other thing is, I feel like on the outside of whoever this is for, like on the outside of you right now, whatever you're doing in your physical environment, I don't think you're feeling good. I mean, and I don't mean negative, but I don't think that you feel like you're putting out a whole bunch of good, but I think that just you standing firmly in certain things is good. Because one of the first messages with this one was, there needs to be a death of something, there needs to be a death of the old, so that there's room for something new. And this reaction to your body doing this, going through this transition, it's like it's an opportunity upward. It's not a pull backwards. It's not to test you. It's because you have brought elevation upon yourself. It's a good reaction. And it's because you can actually tame it that it's coming up now. Oftentimes we have reactions like this because we've experienced something that's not necessarily tameable in a rational experience. That's why a lot of people, that's why this thing I'm flashing back to was a veteran. Like, they experience things that not everybody experiences, which brings reactions that not everybody understands. And so it feels like you understand that reaction happening, and you don't like the feeling of being out of control of yourself. And it seems like in this scenario, it's actually a natural thing happening because of transitioning, where you're more interactive, and this is a way of just kind of like, you need to cry something out. Like, something needs to be cried out. And that means it needs to be released emotionally. That's why we cry. It's to release something so that the process is completed. a death of something old, so there's room for something new. I cry so much when I'm going to do like a personal reading for someone and there's pain or healing happening. Like, because I have to get all of my own personal stuff out of the way to make room for other stuff. So this feels like, okay, something that I kept wanting to say, and I was like, nah, I think that's a personal thing. It keeps coming in, and I keep getting drawn to it. I feel that you have presence around you that is actually trying to seep you through, like to seep your emotions through you so that you can release them, because you are, it's like you put off a high level energy, but it's like you're not able to experience it yet. You're not feeling it in there. And it almost feels like a waiting feeling, but then there's also a very solid kind of stare down at you, where it's like they're all just looking at you. Doesn't that sound creepy? I don't want to make it creepy. It's sweet. It's making me flash back to a conversation that I had with someone at some point where we were talking about their past loved ones coming in the thoughts. I feel like when you're in that moment, that's when you need to ask this is an overstimulated feeling. That's what it is. When you feel overstimulated, there's something that you can cry out so that you can let something in. That makes sense. I feel like someone might be having that with their kids. Like, that's what it's making me think of too. It's reminding me of two different things. One is that when you hear thoughts in your head sometimes it's not your thoughts, but you hear it in your voice, in your head. So you're like, those are my thoughts. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's another source of that information, and you are experiencing it in your head. So the other thing it's making me think of is like having kids and being I'm thinking of all the things I've ever heard a woman say about being overstimulated, and myself included. Or like even dudes, if they like watch their kids as much as I'm digging holes. It's that feeling of constant like interaction, and then you need a release from all of that pull so that you can deal with yourself. That's what this is. And that's like a lot of times why this feeling arises, because there's information that you're not able to see, but it's drawing information inside of you that maybe you're not able to see. And that might be why it feels like a stare down, like emotionally. Yes, that's what you do in this moment. If anyone is having this struggle moment, that's what you do. Like if you're really trying to elevate, or if you're just trying to be a good person, this is going to happen in life, where you experience like a new level of your own overstimulated self, unless you just go hide behind a rock and never see people. Asking who is there, that's how you can find out. And also asking your inside, asking inside here in your own voice, speak back and be like, what am I needing to experience emotionally? What emotions am I what am I blocking? What am I not aware of? That's what it is. What am I not aware of? Because you're not really blocking it in that moment. It's more so you have the opportunity to block it or not. You know what's interesting? It's like in the whole reading, it feels kind of cutthroat and abrupt. And then it also seems like at the core of everything, you are you're a grower, like you're a growing person and you have a lot of emotional strength. So it feels like you'll be all right. You just need like to know what to do with it when you're doing this, when you're reacting in that way. Another song that I heard was I don't remember who it is, but it's that don't want to be an untold story. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I can't hear you, I don't fear you. I don't know. But it's that song was coming into my head after the other one. And the other one at the beginning, that can I trust you? Does your smile hold lies or hide lies? It feels like calming that, if that reaction is not the answer. Understanding why it's happening is the answer. It's like you're not a problem when those things happen. It's more so like the more you elevate, the more your body and your mind need to realign with one another if you're a growing person, especially if you're doing the energy stuff. Also, in that moment, when you have emotions that you need to deal with, you're opening, like you're activated that there's something you need to deal with. And that's a moment too where you can have a low level reaction if you don't deal with it. Like, that's where it's very important to really get strategic about yourself and be like, is this a moment I'm going to take to evaluate why or what I'm avoiding? Or is this something I'm just going to silence again, as if there's something wrong with me, being alarmed to something needing to process? Because I also feel that this reading is for someone who has experienced very, very serious emotional stuff in life. And oftentimes we can think, oh, we're done. We healed past that. We healed through that. We healed through that traumatic experience or period of life. And then you realize that your body hasn't. Like, even if your mind has, sometimes your body needs to release it again. And you've got to let it. That's how you accept what's going on in that moment when your systems are kind of on overdrive. It's like you have to care about what you are needing in that moment. And that's the hardest moment to do that. But you have to have a death of something old to make room for something new. So in releasing emotionally and being willing to put that time into it, you're creating something new in response to that reaction in your body, which silences the negative responses. Like, it doesn't take much to start finding control. It's just that you have to take that opportunity when you are vulnerable. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Also, it's just that this whole reading is saying you know, if you would just give yourself the time to wonder about it. Okay, I hope this is helpful. These are different tonight. Maybe it's because of the date. Everybody's saying 12/12 is a big deal. Okay, I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.